Hello, this is Anthony Watt with the Quad City Times, the Moline Dispatch, and the Rock Island Argus, and I am here with Patrick Alley, the director of the Rock Island Arsenal Museum, and the newest addition to the museum, the Mark 8 Liberty tank from the World War I era. And Mr. Alley is going to walk us through a little bit about what this tank is all about, why it was built, what it was intended for, and what its significance to the arsenal is. So, Mr. Alley, please take it away.
Absolutely. So, as you said, this is the Mark 8 Liberty tank. It just recently came to us here at Rock Island Arsenal from the U.S. Army Armor and Cavalry Collection located in Fort Benning, Georgia. This tank was produced right here at Rock Island Arsenal. It is one of 100 that were produced here at the Arsenal at the cost of $35,000 a piece. As was mentioned, it's called the Mark 8 Liberty. The Liberty designation comes from the fact that it utilizes a V12 Liberty engine, which were also used by the Allies during World War I to power aircraft as well as submarines, and they were also used in this tank. The tank itself is interesting insofar that it was the first American-produced heavy tank, but it was actually a joint venture between the Allied nations of World War I. So the design itself is very similar to the British Mark V heavy tank, and if you walk around this way you can actually see sort of the rhomboid design. This is actually the last tank to sort of have this shape to it. The tank itself, as I said, was an international effort. The Americans provided the drivetrain, the V12 Liberty engine, and some of the portions of the tread, and then the British actually provided the armor and the armaments and a lot of the interior parts of it. So it truly was an international venture, this tank was. Even more so, the tank was going to be built in factories in France that were actually staffed by Chinese laborers. So kind of an interesting history to this tank. Unfortunately, when they were about ready to start into full production, the war ended. So the Rock Island Arsenal was designated as a place that they would build 100 of these, so they sent parts for 100 of these tanks to Rock Island Arsenal in 1919, and then between January of 1920 and June of 1920, Rock Island Arsenal produced 100 of these tanks. The majority of them were shipped out to Fort Meade, Maryland, where the U.S. Infantry maintained its armor training school. So while it was designed as a combat tank, it actually never saw any combat. It was only used as a trainer. Its service life lasted between 1920 and 1932. The tank itself, it is a World War I design, so it is designed for crossing no man's land. All of the armaments for the tank are pointing out to the sides, which is something different than you see in a modern tank that has a rotating turret. The idea is that this would cross over a trench line and then fire down the trench. So you would have 6-pounder guns mounted here, and then you have various Hotchkiss machine guns and other machine guns mounted throughout the rest of the tank itself. This tank, a little bit about its particular history. This tank used to sit out at Aberdeen Proving Grounds on their mile of tanks before those were taken away and moved to other Army Museum facilities. It went from Aberdeen Proving Grounds, it was relocated to the U.S. Armor and Cavalry Collection at Fort Benning, Georgia, where the U.S. Army Museum's armor collection is. And as a part of ongoing reform efforts to get artifacts back to where they are most relevant, we received this tank here at Rock Island Arsenal because it is a Rock Island Arsenal product.